Before we start this episode, I just want to give a shout out to one of my main boys on the UIW track team, one of the fastest 400 meters and hurdlers I've seen ever. He has a bright future in front of him, especially whenever it comes to business. I want to shout out my boy DeCarlo Carillon. He's all about making money and teaching people how to make money, getting into the whole business life.
He's also pretty huge in real estate investing, and he does a little bit in NFTs. For all of you who like a little side hustle, he can help you with getting that started. He's open to any business opportunities.
So you can definitely, for all those business geeks out there that definitely want to get into stuff, you should definitely hit him up. He also with his own business brand called Miracle Power Washing, Miracle Pressure Washing. I'm so sorry, but we will definitely drop his at Miracle Pressure Washing on Instagram, and also you can add him at his actual personal Instagram at DeCarlo Carillon. Hit him up. Again, this guy's making a killing in his business, and we're happy that we get to shout him out in here.
The sun beaming.
Y'all ready?
We're back. For y'all that don't know what that was the one and only Tyler Creator, a.k.a. Tyler Baudelaire, a.k.a. Bunny Hop. He just won a Grammy literally a few minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
So I know we really haven't talked that much about music yet. But that will be coming very, very soon. But Tyler Creator, really awesome dude. Call Me If You Get Lost just won a Best Rap Album of the year. If y'all haven't listened to it, where have y'all been? You guys are underneath the rock. Literally. And listen to all of other Tyler Creator's albums. But we just want to give him a quick shout out right there. But that's not what we're talking about today, Brandon.
Love the album. What are we talking about? We are not talking about Twilight either.
We're not talking about Twilight. We're done with Moons, I think, for a bit until next week.
For a hot second. But
we're not talking about New Moon.
We're not talking New Moon. We're not
but
talking
for
Moon
some
Knight.
reason, we just can't get away from these vampires.
They're everywhere, man. I think they're actually taking over the world right now.
Is it the new trend again, bro? Like, do you think
it is coming back? It seems like it.
Could this movie really be the uprising for people to be like, hey, remember whenever Twilight was a thing, and then people are starting to get back into Twilight?
Yeah, no. Twilight's about to get a big revamp. I have a feeling.
Revamp? See what he did there? Did y'all see what he did there?
Yeah, that was a good one, right? I meant to do that.
But, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the movie starring a world star, Jared Leto, also the lead singer from 30 Seconds to Mars.
Great actor.
It's some movies, but we will be talking about Morbius. Marvel's Morbius. Technically, Sony's Morbius.
Sony's Morbius. You can
the living vampire from the comics. He was introduced back in with the review that we had just saw. Back in Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man series. Apparently, whenever Peter Parker had 6 hands, I don't know if a lot of comic book nerds actually remember that. I remember seeing him a bit in video games and, of course, the comics. I had seen, his look is very iconic in the comics, especially, it's a very tight black, with the pop collar.
The vamp collar.
It's a vampire look.
Pale.
Michael Morbius came out in 1971. Again, like I said, in Amazing Spider-Man. Ever since then, he was a villain, kind of like a guy that just jumped in the wave, fucked with Spider-Man for a bit, and later down the road, he became a anti-hero, which I believe, again, that's the only thing Sony really can do now. Is just keep on doing with the anti-hero type stuff. I mean, they did it really well with Venom, even though, again, in my opinion, Brandon, I really do think that these movies would go well if they started off with them being the villains turning into the anti-villains. Because whenever seeing Venom, of course, we know the last time we saw him was Spider-Man 3. Shout out Toby. Brandon still shits on Toby.
I'm still an Andrew Garfield fan, but we're gonna move past that.
But then of course, whenever people they're already familiar with Venom's a villain, but turning him into the anti-hero for these, it makes more sense. The way they're doing this with Morbius, they just put him right into honestly, it didn't even feel like an anti-hero at all.
But he didn't feel like a hero. It was really weird because he wasn't saving people.
And it didn't really feel like a villain either.
Yeah,
exactly. It was just
but he wasn't an anti-hero. That's the thing, is it didn't feel like it, at least. He was in a weird gray area there that they'll probably explain later. Spoiler alert, by the way. We do have to throw that in here.
For what? For what you just said?
Just for going. We haven't said any spoilers yet, but
go. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just spoiler alert,
movie,
just in case.
Okay, you guys ready for the first spoiler? I'm gonna hit him with the first spoiler. Ready?
Well, I was gonna bring up the post-credit scene.
Oh yeah. No, we're definitely. But
Okay,
I mean, like, I'm gonna bring it.
Well, because like, spoiler alert. The reason why is they're doing it backwards. He started off as like, he's a good guy, but then like, post-credit scene sets him up.
We'll get to the post-credit scene,
which we'll get there
again, and like the future of Sony. We'll definitely get there.
That, yeah.
So I want to start off with the first spoiler, guys. It's gonna be a really big shock. I'm not gonna lie, but this movie is complete dog shit. This is the worst fucking Marvel movie I've ever seen in my life, and I actually had a conversation with a guy at in the school elevator. I said, "Hey, I was walking down from my car. It was literally like after we had seen the movie.
Yeah.
Literally 30 minutes after I seen the movie, see this guy, and I'm like, "Hey, do you like superhero stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know, I'm like super." Like, he got like super invested. I could tell like this guy's a geek like us.
Yeah.
He was like, well, I just saw the Morbius movie. He was like, "Oh, really? Like, how was it, bro? It's dog shit, like terrible." Like, no, bro.
Just talk to somebody.
I'm telling
about
you,
it,
whenever I saw this movie, I was so like befuddled throughout the whole tank. Like Brandon in the theater was like literally like it's not that bad. I'm like, bro, like shut up. Like he does not understand how pissed I was.
Yeah, I could tell from him that he wanted to hate it. You're not wanted to. You hated it so bad.
There were so many. Again,
it was very cheesy. I'll say it. There was a lot of little cheesy.
And again,
scenes.
some of these superhero movies are gonna be cheesy, so I'm okay with it now. But
Yeah.
like, I don't even think it was cheesy. It was just fucking shit. I'm not gonna say bad. I'm not gonna say awful. I'm gonna say shit. Like, you know, like this is exactly how I said it. In my opinion, again, I know there's a few people that don't really like the first Venom movie, but I actually like the first Venom movie. The first Venom movie actually was pretty solid, a solid ground for them to start up with, so I was okay with it. Venom Let There Be Carnage, it was awful. Like, it really wasn't like it wasn't like hyped up. I mean, it was really hyped up, but it just didn't live up to the hype.
It wasn't very great for the characters. Like, having Carnage just kind of get finished in that way.
Yeah, Carnage is a bigger character, and they kind of like messed it up a little bit there. Woody Harrelson actually did pretty good on that.
He was a good actor as Cletus.
So if Venom was good to me, again, I'm gonna say good, and Let There Be Carnage was shit, this movie fucking took the cake and just became dog shit to the point where like I'd grab this in a bag, put it at someone's front door, light it on fire so that you could just stomp on it, because that's how dog shit this movie is. I gave it a 2 out of 10. That's the lowest I've ever rated a movie in my life. Like, I don't think I've seen like that bad of a movie until then. And I'm gonna be honest, I really feel bad for Jared Leto.
I feel bad for him, yeah.
Because he's been in a couple movies. Of course, like,
he's a good actor.
This was supposed to, I guess, kind of be his redemption role from the Joker. Even though I don't think we really saw the full potential of his Joker. No. Because a lot of the scenes were cut out from that Suicide Squad movie.
I think the Zack Snyder version kind
of
opened us up to what
it was the Ayer cut. It was the Ayer cut.
No, I know, but I'm saying the Snyder cut. The end of it.
We're talking about. Oh yeah.
I'm saying that did better
from the 4-hour jail.
That kind of redeemed his Joker a little bit, or meant to say like the direction it was originally supposed to go, and you're like, okay, this Joker would have been okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would have continued, and then I know he's been in a couple. I mean, a lot of people really know him from his famous role from American Psycho. The funny meme of whenever Batman kills the Joker, and it's just Christian Bale axing the fuck out of Jared Leto. That's a funny scene, and he's been in a couple other movies too, and that I'm pretty sure that a few people have seen. But this really was supposed to be his, not his breakout, but more of like his redemption.
His redeeming like super, it's like CBM.
Forgot he was in he was in Fight Club too. He was one of the he had blonde hair. Then that was like peak 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah, that was crazy. I want to start off going into the movie already.
See that?
Bruh, that's not gonna happen. Brandon's looking at a Joker versus Harley movie.
I'm looking at all the movies he's supposed to be in, and it says there was supposed to be a Joker versus Harley movie.
Yeah, like even a Gotham City Sirens. I'm telling you, like there's a whole bunch of stuff playing with him.
Been good.
Now we got him for Marvel, and it looks like we will continue to see him more in the future. But my notes right here. Oh, I do want to mention that this idiot gave it a 5 out of 10.
It's 5. Okay, listen. seeing all the first of all, don't listen to critic reviews. Do not watch that because they're like harshing this movie very bad. And for spoiler alert, I think the only reason they're doing that is because they were expecting a lot more out of this movie, as in a specific character, which we
got pushed off for 2 years, and I get it because of the pandemic.
I get that it was delayed like 5 times over the course of 2 years.
But
I do want to know what those reshots were. I mean, you'd think after delaying it so many times it would at least been better. So I was expecting it to be bad. Now it was bad, but it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was.
The trailer is better than the movie.
It's not.
The trailer is better than the movie, bro.
The trailer's not better than the movie. There was just a lot of. I will have to say, Jared Leto did very good in the role. I think every scene where he was alone was fine. Where it was literally just him dealing with whatever the fuck by himself was fine. Anytime they brought in another actor except the baddie, except the girl, they had some pretty good moments together. I don't know her name. I think it was Adrian. Is that her name?
Adria or Jonah or Arona or maybe something like that.
Something like that. Well, Adria.
But Martine,
them two were pretty good together, except for one scene which we'll get to later. Them two were good. Jared Leto, every scene that he had by himself though was pretty good. Like the way he portrayed the character himself was pretty good. But anytime any other character came into the scene, like especially the villain in the movie,
quote unquote,
every scene they had together was awful. Like the fighting was kind of bad.
It was just the writing just did not fit right for
the
this
writing
movie.
was really bad.
Again, it had really potential and they just blew it.
Yeah, I was telling him though, aesthetically, I think it looked cool.
No, it did. It did.
The darkness of it, and then like a lot of the effects that they would play with, especially when like Jared Leto would like fly. Whenever he had moved, I really liked that shadowy effect that they kind of had. Whenever he moved as a vampire, his eyes, his little sonar thing, that was cool.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to bring up. The sonar in his
cool.
ears, I like the way they. Of course, you could tell it's really like cheap CGI.
Yeah, it's really.
But like that's still kind of cool. Low key, it kind of made me like itch in like my chair because looking at it, it's kind of like, his look is amazing.
His look is really good. He looks really good.
Of course, we don't get the comic book version of his.
We don't get that skin tight.
But it's a modern day type of Morbius. The purple color again, like whenever he takes off his flight, is really nice. Mm-hmm. Again, like the how do I say it? Whenever they shape his face to look like the vampire, he really looks like the comic.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to CGI, I do actually want to mention that. Looking at him in the comic before he turns full vampire, this dude is an ugly motherfucker. He's already
ugly, yeah.
Like you literally, he's just pale. Like he just turns pale. So it kind of makes more sense at this aspect of getting Jared Leto. I'm not saying Jared Leto looks handsome or anything, but I mean like he it's a good looking dude turned into something hideous, you know?
Yeah.
Not in the comics where you have an ugly ass motherfucker and just paint him white.
Yeah, and just making him uglier, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not as basically more of a story. It wasn't as bad as I thought, which is why I gave it a 5. Bad.
Well, I mean, I think it's because I really had high expectations for this movie.
I didn't.
I
did at first until I saw all the delays, and then I was suspecting a lot because, you know, banking off of No Way Home, especially being delayed after No Way Home, you would think
and especially
some shit would go down regarding that movie. Spoiler alert, nothing happens.
Yeah, but also like you said, like No Way Home, also regarding like in the trailer, people were kind of trying to figure out like what Spider-Man universe is in. Of course, you still believe. Really confusing. Me and Brandon are getting to the point where we believe it might be Andrew Garfield's universe. They know they teased a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in the background. We never really saw any of that.
that scene. Also, speaking of that, have you seen what the director was saying about that scene? He said, or I don't know if it was the director or if it was the writer, but he said he has no idea why that scene was in the trailer.
For real?
He said he didn't put it in there. He said it was just like, I guess Sony or whatever the fuck, they put it in there. I think they did it to throw everybody off.
No, but also,
I mean, they didn't really throw anybody off of anything. If anything, it just ruined the hype for the movie. But he said he doesn't know why they put it in there. He said he never intended for that to like be a part of the story, especially so soon.
But also, again, like of course, Toby, Oscorp, Andrew, Michael Keaton. Again, did they throw us off, bro?
That's what I'm saying. I think they used Oscorp and Spider-Man because we didn't see Oscorp unless
then-
maybe we'll see it in the HD. Like maybe it's in the background and we couldn't see it
somewhere
in the theater.
Maybe
or
I was
something.
just close my eyes for how shit the movie was. But also Michael Keaton, Tom Holland. So like we already have that, but also that picture background of that Spider-Man, even though it is Tobey's, it wasn't even from it was the video game.
Yeah, it was from the PS1.
Yeah, so I mean
maybe
maybe it really, like you were saying, maybe it really was Sony trying to plug it into, oh, let me promote Spider-Man PS4, like
some
whatever.
stupid promotion that didn't work out, basically.
But yeah, so I guess like now, ever since we got like those little Easter eggs, I guess, and how like our little thoughts of the movie, and we can really get into every single breakdown of the movie. We're gonna go in with the intro. The way it starts off, it literally just starts off straight Morbius.
The intro, the first maybe like 15, 20 minutes.
It's a big purple M. I mean, it's cool, but
I like that little logo.
I'm actually like not that big of a fan of. I guess I'm just so used to watching movies now where they just don't show the title anymore. Like just like, oh, you know what the title is what the movie's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like, and of course, a lot of Marvel
or
movies,
they do it in a cooler way, like 10 minutes.
and then they just end, or like they end like the movie like with it, you know.
Yeah.
You still good?
Yeah. It should still be recording.
We're making sure that everything's all Gucci with this GoPro, but it looks like we're all Gucci.
Yeah. Okay.
The origin to see him in the that's also what I wanted to see. So we see Michael Morbius is introduced with a new friend who is known as Lucius Crown, and he has and he's in a, I guess like an orphanage hospital with everyone who has the same disease. What kind of disease is it again?
They have that. It's some kind of something.
It's a chronic
something degeneration. Something, I guess, with their blood in their legs, cells in their legs.
It's something that's killing
something
them.
like that. Yeah, basically, we're slowly killing them and making them very. But I think it's macular degeneration. Could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but it's
Brandon, the big word guy.
Sorry, I'm gonna be a doctor, so it's some degeneration of some sort in their body.
So yeah, I thought that was cool. Again, like the beginning of the movie didn't start off bad. Whenever they brought it in, there were a little bit of camera changes that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Because there was like voiceover, he was talking, and like it seemed like a lot of time had passed where these two
It was really
had
weird.
become
It kind of
friends.
jumped.
Yeah, it just jumped like,
really weirdly in the beginning, but
and then we kind of see like a little glimpse of where Lucius is like almost dies as a kid, and Michael like helps him.
Yeah.
With the fucking
with the spring
of a pen, and they're like,
Literally
"Oh,
uses
this
a spring
kid's
pen.
legit." I'm like, bruh. I mean,
see, that was stupid. Stuff like it's little shit like that. That's like, okay, like really, this kid just saved this kid's life by plugging the spring into a machine and it works. Wait, maybe scientifically that works, but to us it was stupid.
And they're somewhere like in like Mexico or some shit like that, or some place, because you see like all these little kids that are
I could not tell
that are there, but also they what's funny about that scene is because it's like a little like Catholic school like right next to them. They're all like uniforms, whatever.
School, yeah.
But how many people in the world today do you really know that are complete assholes like that? They go up to cripples and beat the fuck out of them. Like, I thought that was such a stupid concept.
Especially like they were making fun of these guys through the like they saw these kids in the window and they were these little private school kids were like making fun of these kids with the degenerative disease. They were just making fun of them, and it's like they probably wouldn't do that, especially right to them. If anything, if anyone was an asshole like that, I think they'd be smart enough to not do it to their face. You know, they'd probably like talk behind their back. But like, I don't know. It was very exaggerated. Basically, that whole bully aspect.
No, that's super dumb. And then also be like, oh, I'm only gonna do this if you take care of Lucius babying around the main little cripple.
The cripple.
So I mean, it was a good little it was a good transition from him becoming a doctor to to him winning the Nobel Prize. Of course, they didn't really want to make it like draggy and all that stuff. So I was cool with that. Mm-hmm. Also, I thought it was also cool that he kind of like what did he do? He kind of like blew off meeting someone like whenever he got the prize, right?
He won a Nobel Peace Prize, but he rejected it.
Oh yeah, because he hasn't really solved it.
Yeah, I think because or for whatever reasons, like I think he felt it would bring too much fame. I think it was more so like he didn't. Probably what you're saying, yeah. Since he didn't solve his problem, But he got that Nobel Peace Prize because in the movie, and I don't know if he does this in the comics, but he invented some synthetic blood. So that way they wouldn't
The
have
blue
to,
stuff, right, in the movie?
So that way they wouldn't have to rely on getting blood donors. They can instead just make it artificially, a lot easier. I'm sure a lot cheaper that way. But he gets a Nobel Peace Prize for that, but rejects it for whatever reason. I think
I like
think
that.
he was
I like
saying
that concept.
he didn't need
though.
that. He didn't need that prize to feel like he's smart. I think that was the whole basis. I could have been wrong, but I think that's why he did it.
I thought it was more just because he like the job's not finished. Just
That could have been it, but maybe. Job's not finished?
Job's not finished.
Job finished? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Shout out Kobe. Rest in power.
Rest in power.
But also the main key difference that actually I didn't know and that we just found out by watching the video of the recap, that Morbius actually he had the disease whenever he, later on, but he just never told anyone about it.
Yeah, and it seems like in the comics he was fine. You know, in the comics I didn't see any crutches on that comic strip that they were showing us. He didn't have crutches, and he seemed like he was pretty okay, and it's like that degenerative disease kind of caught up to him in his later years. Whereas in this movie, he's had it since he was born. He hasn't been able to like walk properly since he was born. So I don't know. That was a weird switch up, but I guess it makes sense in the universe that they're trying to do this in. But regardless, he's trying to solve that problem. That's the whole basis of the intro was him. He wants to save Lucius. He wants to cure Lucius and himself because no one's been able to do it.
Sorry if I keep on getting my phone. Someone's taking care of the dogs right now in my house, so just need to make sure that my pups are all good. But yeah, I did like how they did show him like this now, so he won't feel more. But
Yeah.
we're not like the audience is supposed to feel more of a struggle because if they didn't really like show that at first, it would just come like this dude's like kind of dying. They've done this in other movies before, so you kind of want to feel bad for again the cripples, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with anything with cripples.
No,
It's just
we're not saying anything about it.
it's just,
Saying,
if it's Jared Leto, then we get to make fun of him, you know.
I guess that makes sense.
So he does that. We kind of already see that he's kind of obsessed with bats already. Like I think the opening of the movie is he's at where's it at? He's at like some country. He's already
at
getting
the
in
cave.
and
The
he-
cave that you see in the trailer where the bats.
So that little thing, the whole time, I guess he set up that whole big stage or whatever, cut his hand for the blood.
It was like a trap.
Yeah,
He wanted
so
to catch, he wanted to catch a bunch of the bats.
And then
they're
we
vampire bats. Very specifically, they're vampire bats.
I really thought that that's how he would have changed. That would have been kind of funny.
I thought, I was just going to change right there.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to like attack him, but
But he did catch a lot of them because we did literally see that he has this big kind of just place where like he's just they're all just roaming around.
he
and
has like
just
a
flying.
giant tube container full of bats. And I guess
This guy's a bat fetish Batman.
This guy is a Batman.
I mean, he's basically man bat.
He's
I'm not gonna
literally
lie.
a man bat. Yeah.
So we do get introduced into, again, this is why I gave it a 2 out of 10 because of Adria. Shout out Martine.
Shout out Martin.
I think the one thing that some of these superhero movies do is that they always get a beautiful actress to be like the.
She was very beautiful.
So that's why that was the only thing is because she was beautiful and because Jared Leto again looked the part for it. And like you said earlier, Brandon, whenever he was by himself, he did have good. You could kind of tell that whenever he was with Martine, like a little bit, there was a good little bit of connection.
Pretty good.
I liked how
They had a good dynamic.
she liked him, even with being the way that he is,
She liked him because of his brain.
because of his brain.
You
And
can't find him like that.
exactly,
anymore.
man. Ladies, if you're out there,
Please.
go kiss a cripple.
I don't think that's. I don't think that's what we meant.
That's not exactly
We just meant look inwards.
yeah.
Please
Look for a really good guy. They're out there.
They're out there. We out here.
We out here.
We're out here.
So that was a good dynamic. He kind of has like his own little hospital / lab for the children that he takes care of still. Cares very dearly for them. Then we kind of get introduced into Lucius, an older Lucius more, and he kind of looks like, I guess he has money.
He looks rich. He's
Or
got money.
is Jared, I was going to say is Jared Leto, or is Morbius taking care of him?
I think. Oh well.
So you never, because they don't explain, what he does.
I think you just kind of assume he comes from money because Morbius. Well, they never show Morbius's house, do they? I don't think we ever seen
But I'm
it,
pretty
so
sure
I don't
he's
know.
made some good
being,
money from
being a Nobel Peace Prize winner and like world-renowned doctor. I'm pretty sure he's got money, but I don't think he's taking care of. I think he helps Lucius with the info that he's developing. You know, they kind of help you because it seems like Lucius is actually. He was kind of saying he's the one that gives Morbius money. He funds his project, so Lucius comes from money.
I want to know what the fuck he was doing. Like, how did he make?
Probably generational money, I'm sure.
And then of course we have. Well, I guess we don't get his name because it's just Morbius's mentor on here. It's like Doctor something or whatever. But there were some points where I really thought he'd be a villain because he just has that face.
Doctor?
Yeah, like I thought like every time that like he was with Lucius and something was happening with Michael, like there were scenes where he was looking at it just like his face just kind of changed. I was like, he gave it like an evil look. But I guess because the thing is, because he's in the Sherlock Holmes movies, and he plays a really, really big villain in it, and I think that's why I'm just so familiar with him being, I guess it's called the antagonist, right? The villain. Mm-hmm. So I'm so used to him being the antagonist to where I was like, okay, this guy's gonna turn at one point, but that wasn't the case. Great father figure. He really cared for both of them, of course, and then later down the line we kind of see like exactly what happens. The conversation between Morbius and Lucius in the house is cool. When they go for a walk, I lost it, bro. I was like, why are you guys gonna torture yourself?
That was so funny, yeah, because I mean, but I don't know, again.
And oh my god, I'm gonna keep on bringing it back here and there until they finally, like, again, spoiler alert, they do cure themselves at a cost. At a cost.
Yeah, you find that out.
But I'm not shitting on cripples. I'm just saying, like, it's so bad. They're like, let's go for a walk, and you just see every normal person walking
like
around and
jogging around them, and they're
just like taking their sweet ass ties, bro. Hey, if you have the money and you can do
power
that,
to them though that they had the confidence to go walk out. Maybe that's it. If you look at it that way, it's fine.
It was so hilarious. And then they make it to the park, but even like then, like their interactions again, according to the writing that I saw from the movie, it really wasn't good.
Their interactions were very weird. You can tell they're very close though, like they're kind of brotherly.
No, it very very much is because they even say like, "Hey, might have found something," because I think they tested on a lab rat. Mm-hmm. Rest in power to the lab rats. I really kind of that's a whole different subject.
It worked, but
I mean, yeah,
worked on the lab rat.
Worked on the lab rats. They had that happen, and they thought the lab rat had died with the serum that they did but then it worked, and then they were like, "Hey, there might be a way. I'm gonna let you know, but if you do it, like we only have like a couple years left. I mean, all the cells is like beating us up. Like let's do it." They're like, what's the saying that they say throughout the whole time? Like we're the Spartans, or
the few against the many.
That's the only good thing that I liked out of the movie. The few against the many. They
kept that consistent.
Yeah, so that's what
I think they said it one too many times. Like they didn't need to say it. I think we got it.
But
you know what I mean? I get why
there was I think two moments where they did say it, and there was just like
they didn't need to say it. You can tell they were using that because they wanted that to be like the theme of the movie, I guess. But it's like it didn't fit into the theme. But yeah, they said it probably a couple times too many where they didn't need to say it.
It was still great.
They said it one or two times, and you were like, okay. But then the other two times you're like, again. You're like, again? Y'all really said that again? But yeah, weird.
Weird
dynamic between them.
That was good, and then we finally kind of see them again. Which another fact that we did not know in the his run for his origins in the comics, they actually do it on a boat. I didn't know that either. Yeah. One thing I actually didn't mention was that Martine in the comics is actually his fiance.
Here
she's just. I don't think they're dating.
They're just acquaintances. You can tell they like each other.
They like each other a lot.
Yeah.
So in the comics, of course, he does this with his partner, kind of the same concept, but in this sense, Martine is helping him in the movie. Mm-hmm. They make sure that
in the comics he's keeping everything from her, but in this movie she's like his partner.
Better doing it that way if you do it together.
It makes more sense.
And I guess they wanted to do that also kind of to make it more of a I can't believe he's this hideous monster now, and I saw this happen. I would want to help him type concept,
exactly.
You know.
Yeah. Like she's still on his side regardless.
Yeah, we see that like the human blood is compatible. So whenever they shout out Brandon Pop,
Yeah, y'all hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Damn.
He be popping out here.
I do be popping.
Oh
all
my
the time.
god.
Sorry.
And then whenever they do it, of course we see, like, I guess according to the mouse or rat that they tested on, he's supposed to like die for like a sec and then come back, I guess.
I'm sure it was probably has to do with the fact that it was a rat. Yeah, well he made the cure, so he thought, and he just needed to test it. Yeah, rat died for a little bit. They get called out of
Fuck them rats.
They get called out of It's always the rats. It's always the rats. They get called out of the room. They're like, damn. He has like a little like log. He's like, damn, this one didn't work either. Rest in peace. They get out of the room. Martine at one point turns around and the rat is there. I don't understand the layouts. The layouts of any of these buildings that they were in, I didn't understand. Like, it seemed like his little lab that he was in was like underground of this hospital. But y'all will understand what we mean by that. But then they walk out and they're helping someone like in a regular hospital bed, and she turns around in his lap. She can see the rat in his lap.
There's no
from like
way
across the hallway, which doesn't make any sense.
It seemed like it was like from
like,
far away, right?
Yeah, and she's like sees the rat moving, and she's like,
I was actually thank you for actually reminding me that there actually is a scene where Martine and Morbius are talking, and there's a nurse in the background that walks, right? And then like you see that she's coming through the door, but then it cuts to Martine and Morbius, and it's like an extra like a whole like minute. I'm like, how long did it take for that nurse to just walk through that door to say, "Hey, this patient's tweaking right now"?
Yeah,
bro, because like I don't think
the jumping is weird.
If you see like any of the parts, people just walk in through the door. Like there's no code or anything. I don't think.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, did they not like catch that, bro? Dude, Sony was really slacking on this. Like that.
I think what was the budget for this movie? It was like $80 million, I think.
How much did they make? I know I said it somewhere right here.
Opening weekend they got 39.
Because people wanted to see it.
Exactly. People wanted to see it. People probably also already had their tickets, so they had no choice but to see it.
It was just really, really lazy. Like, I mean, I'm saying that off the top of my head, but it says Spider-Man spin-off Morbius with Jared Leto is lazy, not good, and totally ass. They didn't say totally ass, but like I just put totally ass at the end.
I see. I mean, but if you look at all the audience reviews, they're pretty good. They're better than the critic ratings, which is why we're saying just follow the audience ratings.
I'm the best critic out there. If you listen to me, yeah.
Yeah, so budget was 75. I guess opening weekend being it was last weekend, opening weekend, so what, those first 3 days it made like 35. It says something about 84 mil right here, so they made a profit.
They made a profit of the shit that they lost.
Like 10 million, yeah.
So I mean, like it still wasn't
$10 million profit, but you know, if people see it throughout the week, maybe people will give it a chance. They'll make more, but it's beside the point. So
the only I guess part that really made it up throughout the movie was some of the action sequences,
some of them looked kind of cool.
Kind of. I think the first one, whenever Morbius is first brought in as the living vampire, again. The structure of the face, I like the way they...
The whole boat scene was good.
Yeah, no, that boat scene was amazing.
Like, he was ripping everybody to shreds on the boat scene. That was cool. That was a cool scene. Probably the coolest scene out of the whole movie.
I think it was a stupid little scene for, I guess those mercenaries to come down and be like, oh, I can do whatever I want. Like, see, that's cheesy.
Yeah, that shit was cheesy.
Like, again, there's the writing part where it just keeps on just bringing it down, but, you know...
Writing was definitely bad.
And then he just pushes the girl for no reason, right?
Yeah.
It's like...
He's just like, oh, because Morbius is fucking up the other thug. She's trying to stop them, and they're like...
Yeah, oh my God.
They just push her out of the way to go stop Morbius, but Morbius...
He fucks up that thug,
He's turned. Yeah, he's turned, and then he just fucks shit
We
up.
show a little bit of the
There was a lot more thugs on that boat than I thought.
Very much, bro. I
thought
we only saw like 4 guys.
Yeah, there was only those 4, and then all of a sudden there's like 3 levels of the boat, and there's like 5 guys per level, and you're like, what the all these guys come from?
He does like take him out. Of course, there's a little more of the, you know how like in Batman Begins where he just like posts people like up, or even like like in Spider-Man 3 Venom whenever he just yanks Toby up too.
Oh yeah.
So like again, you see like shit that's been there before. It was cool sneaking around, biting people. drank the fuck out of like someone's blood at one point, and then like he
straight slicing, dicing.
like that. It was cool. Like that
was
scene
cool.
was cool. If they did more of that throughout the whole time, then shit would have been crazy. I would have rather have seen more of a. Of course, we got a little bit of a police chasing Morbius scene, but I would have wanted more of a Morbius against other people rather than
like Morbius chasing other people.
yeah.
Because it seems like in the comics he really can't control the bloodlust, but in this one, and I think that's why they did the synthetic blood thing, because that's not in the comics. I don't think.
Yeah.
He's able to control that because he just drinks the synthetic blood, which is a whole theme throughout the movie.
And I get who was the director for this? Can you see?
Director Daniel Espinosa.
Daniel Espinosa. What has he done? Because again, like we've said this before. I'm cool with doing, with directors having original type things just to switch it up a bit. I'm pretty sure he had other people try and help him.
I don't know any of these.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I've seen any of these.
He's a Swedish guy, so he has a lot of Swedish movies.
Oh, okay.
So I don't.
Shit, maybe you should.
Who knows why they pinned this guy to helm Morbius? But
you're probably like, oh, I'm in the market right now. I mean, I could do this for how much ever you're giving to me. You probably just needed the money to do it.
Tough.
I was gonna bring up.
He jumped off the boat, right?
Yeah, again, like that's related to the comics too. He even jumped off the boat in the comics as well.
The only difference was in the comics he was doing it to kill himself.
Yeah.
In the movie, he was just doing it
to escape.
I
I do want to bring up one thing from that scene after he like completely like shreds apart like those whole mercenaries. What was it? He turns back to normal, and I thought this part was so stupid too. And we literally have like a 2 to 3 minute scene of just Jared Leto flexed out,
just checking himself out. He's like
like for no reason. Like
it's also really funny he just knows how to walk.
He just
you know what I mean?
Like he's not really phased it. Like there's no sense of just like he just knows.
He was
right?
like, damn, I look good. That's really it. But it's like
he does a damn I look good for like 10 seconds, and then there's just a camera angle of just like him just like walking around like for no reason, and then the moment he sees like a shirt, he's like, oh yeah, it's like he never even know that like so dumb, bro. I hate this movie so much.
A lot of cheesy stuff, but
of course.
you would think that someone who couldn't walk all his life would be like feel weird, like have like some sea legs that he can all of a sudden walk, but I mean, he was walking like he had been his whole life.
It's extra muscle, bro.
That doesn't make sense.
Helped him out.
It's just from my perspective, that's how I would imagine it, but maybe that's not how it works. I don't know.
The scenes whenever the cops get involved, I thought Tyrese Gibson would have been a shout out Fast and Furious. I thought he would have been more of a bigger part, and then we also have Agent Rodriguez who's out. I've seen him in other movies too, but he's funny. He funny quips like here and there, or whatever.
He was definitely the comedic relief.
But I guess they were just there for no really apparent reason. There wasn't like anything for them to actually. I think
they tried to catch
like honestly
Morbius, and it just never worked.
If they really just had Morbius, a little bit of Lucius and Martine throughout that whole movie, they really could have just done fine.
That's what I'm saying. They could have taken out every side character, and it would have been fine.
I honestly do think I told Brandon at the end of this movie too that I think they put in like an extra like 30 minutes for no reason. Like honestly, like this movie did not need to be an hour and 48. I mean, I would have been fine if it was even less than an hour and 30, bro. Fuck, man, hour and 20 movie. I definitely could see this as an hour and 20 movie.
It's what? Yeah. Okay.
Like again, some
Fair
of the
enough.
stuff they did not need. Finally makes it back to his lab, and the funny thing is, there's a moment where after again, there's a point where there's one of the nurses which went through the door gets bitten.
She gets killed in the hallway.
After they actually have a fight.
This is the worst. This is.
Oh, hold on. I actually want to get there. Morbius and Lucius finally meet up. And throughout the whole time, Morbius is trying to control his lust for the blood, which is a good scene as well. I'll give it that.
That whole testing, because he tests himself, and this is where he figures out.
Brandon's not wrong. Brandon was not wrong when Jared Leto works well by himself.
He works every scene. I'm telling you, he was fine alone. This could have literally just been a movie with just Jared Leto in it, and it would have worked.
Do you think that that's a real life situation where because we see Jared Leto in other movies working with other people? Do you think that if we just got a movie and just said Jared Leto
I don't know why we haven't done that. Like, I feel like that would work. I feel like that's a lot of the problems with a lot of movies is that they try to introduce so many characters rather than focusing on, like, their main, focus character.
Especially with this runtime also.
Especially with this runtime. This literally could have been a Jared Leto movie, maybe with a little bit of Martin in it, and it would have been...
a lot of Martin in it.
I didn't want to say it. But yes, a lot. And it would have been... This would have been not perfect, but it would have been so much better.
Oh yeah, it would have been way better. Again, I really like the Lucius like, oh, I can't give it to you, like it's a curse, because Lucius sees like, oh, you look amazing. And,
yeah, he sees
like,
that he's
nah,
cured.
Like, this is like, it's a more of like a, it's a curse,
yeah,
like, oh, we always hear that shit. So I thought that was cheesy.
It's not a cure, it's a curse. Fucking classic.
You're straight out of the OG
God
books, bro.
Damn it.
The dynamic though, but like, at what point did he take the serum?
That's what I'm saying. I know at one point
he looked at it.
I know at one point they showed that because he made 3 bottles of like the serum, and I know they kind of showed at one point both of like or 2 of them, but it's like
because Morbius took the first one.
Yeah, Morbius took the first one, and it was like, oh, there's 2 left. So then you're like, oh well, what the hell's gonna happen to those 2? But they never showed this guy taking them, but yet he took one.
Yeah, and then that leads up to the scene where he even says like, "Oh, how much artificial blood can I really use?" There's even a scene where like he's like, "There's red blood like right there." Like, nah, let me use this artificial shit.
It's where they show he's a good guy.
Yeah, again,
he's trying to fight it. Just
again, it's just some
comic.
It's really character. Just some movie guys. It's not a anti-hero or villain type thing. Like,
it's just a guy.
Again, that nurse gets eaten up. But here's the funny thing that I wanted to bring up about it is that Jared Leto, like, or Morbius in a sense, like, he just comes out of the room. Everyone has to know who he is at the office, right? Like he doesn't. No, he's not just stuff like. So
he's
like,
trying to hide himself in a hoodie, but like you can still see his.
No, I don't even think in this scene he just walks out by himself. I'm like, bro, how many people actually know that like you're walking around normal? Half these people have to know exactly who you are. Like, this guy find a cure? Like, if I was anyone else, I feel like
I'd be like,
I
get it. You cured this uncurable disease.
Yeah, and I get it. We have someone dead right here, but you're walking and beefy now.
Yeah. So anyway, I really want to talk about the scene because this is the worst scene out of the whole movie. This nurse gets murked, right? She's in a hallway, a very dark hallway, which the lighting doesn't make sense. Like, the lighting panels are like motion activated, but like they go panel by panel. Like, she's walking, it'll turn off, and then the next one will turn on, and it doesn't make any. Please watch the movie so you can see what I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, she's in this really dark hallway. At one point, you can tell she's being stalked by a vampire, which is presumably Michael Morbius. Spoiler, come to find out, it wasn't him. But anyways, you think it's Michael Morbius because he's the only vampire that you know of yet. This nurse is getting hunted in this hallway. Yada, yada, yada. She gets chased. She gets killed in this hallway. Flash forward to, like, after she gets killed, it's like the next morning, and Morbius is in one of the hospital rooms checking his patients in that hallway. And all of a sudden, there's a bunch of people in the hospital that notice the body, and now there's a big ruckus about the body. But it's like, I want to know what the time... Because this body was literally just in the middle of the hallway. So I want to know how nobody in, like, the morning shift saw this body. Like, how
the
did...
janitor was probably just like...
and it was, like, literally next to the room that Morbius was in. So, like, if Morbius got into that room to visit this patient, how did he not see the body in the hallway? It doesn't make any sense. This is the only scene that I think the most didn't make...
He fell asleep in his office, bro.
He was in his office, so he walked into that room.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Is what I'm saying. Like, there was people moving about with this body on the ground, but it isn't until, like, the morning that all of a sudden people are finding it. But, like,
the scene doesn't
you just
sense.
know there was activity going on that someone should have seen it sooner. The only scene I didn't understand. I understood the rest of the movie.
We got a mad Brandon here.
Regardless of how bad it was. That's why the movie was bad, was for that scene alone, because it's just such a, like, it's such an amateur, like, fuck up in terms of, like, directorship, I guess, if that's a word, if that's the right word.
We just made it a word. Put it in the dictionary.
Put that directorship. Such a, like, how do you just not catch that? I'm just saying.
These guys must have been, like, really, again, like, these guys were fucking lazy with the movie.
I'm sorry, I put a lot of emphasis on that scene because I hate it. It's the only scene I hate.
Well, I'm glad you fucking put some emphasis, bro. I hate the movie, Brandon. Yeah!
Just that scene I really hate, and another one, but
we'll get to
further on
that.
one.
Of course, we see Morbius kind of leaving because he's like, "Oh, did I?" I guess like he doesn't know, like, "Oh, did I kill the nurse?" Like he doesn't know.
He's like, "Damn,
was I that like into it where I had to kill her?" He walks out. The cops are there asking him like, "Oh,
He said, "Hey, you're back."
Yeah, was it? No, he's like, "Oh no, I've kind of just been chilling, whatever." How are you with boats? It's like, "Well, I can't move, stupid." As I said, like basically that's what it is. They leave. Or no, they leave. They try like, "Oh, you gotta come with us," and then he whips out like, "Oh, never mind. Like, I'm just gonna fuck it. I guess I'm screwed already." So he starts running. That scene where he like jumps up is cool as fuck. Like
that's cool, yeah. And he starts traveling up the stairs.
The only thing that didn't make sense to me is whenever he went all the way up and he was about to run off the window, right? Or not the window, the building, and something like stops him.
It was the air. Well, I think he was gonna jump regularly, but.
Or was that supposed to?
How he learned to fly is he flies with like the air travel, like the air currents.
So is that what he was?
So that's
seeing?
what it was.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that makes more sense.
That's
to
how
me
he
now.
flies. Is he can see the way air is moving in a place, and he basically glides along it.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, what the fuck? And
then that building, he can see the air flowing like down the building. You know, as classic physics. You know, air will travel down the building. And this is his first like experience with the air. So he gets to the edge of the building, and all of a sudden he's just like getting swept off of it. Also, the cop was like right behind him, which doesn't make sense because that cop would have had to go up like 100 stories just to catch up, which doesn't make any sense because Morbius was literally flying up this fucking staircase, and the cop was just running, and that doesn't make sense.
Tyrese just popped him out of nowhere, bro.
Tyrese, yeah, as soon as he's falling off the building, Tyrese.
The funny thing is, it's like the camera angle was like it was like the gun and the.
It was really camera. Oh my god, the camera work was really bad too. A lot of things wrong with this movie, but still not as bad as I was expecting, which is why.
It got him in interrogation. They're like, "Oh, like I'm here." I mean, but like they know, like he literally. It's so weird.
The interrogation was funny.
It was
good.
funny.
That was
but
a good scene.
What I also thought, I was like, how are these cops so like okay with this dude being a vampire?
I don't think they knew. Oh, well,
no,
they suspected, right?
Yeah,
they kind of suspected, but I think they were kind of joking, like, "Are you?"
But he
they didn't know. I don't think
he was just like
he was like a
"Oh,
real vampire.
I'm getting hungry too," and all this shit. Like I mean, I think they actually no, I think they actually knew like if this guy's a vampire, how are they so calm with it? You know?
Probably because they were like, "Oh, we got his hands chained up. What is he gonna do?" But he just. Anyways, yeah, like the cop brought in the holy water. That was funny.
That was funny as heck. Again, like I think that's the only time I laughed. I really think no, like, that was the only time I was like, ha.
Well, did you catch like the Hulk reference in that scene?
I didn't. Which was it?
Well, when he's talking to the cops, he's like, he says,
don't make me when I'm
hungry." He's like, "You wouldn't like me when I'm
that
hungry."
Was
that's a Hulk reference.
The Incredible Hulk reference, Edward Norton. That was actually pretty fun. They made a few different references here and there,
like the Venom reference.
Yeah, that one was stupid. That one just did flow right.
It sounded better than it did in the trailer. It sounded terrible.
Tell you, this trailer was way better than the movie.
Well, not that line delivery. The line delivery on that one when he said "I'm Venom." In the trailer, it sounded like so shitty.
It did? No, I thought I liked it better.
In the movie, it was better because he kind of said it more. Like in the trailer, he said it more like. Oh, and then in the trailer, he said it as a joke.
Yeah.
He joked about it, but in the movie, he just says "I'm Venom," and then he tells the guy, "Get out of here."
Like what the fuck?
That was better to me because I mean, I don't know. That's just my personal take.
Oh my god!
Anyways, they make a lot of references to some shit like that.
Because I'm really like this is the one time that I'm really not even siding with Brandon on a lot of this shit right now because like
usually we agree, but
I'm telling you, this is a very hot take of a movie for me, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to give it like the benefit of the doubt, as I do with a lot of movies. I'm trying to give it
Brandon the nice guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it give it some credit.
As you can tell, like if we were in an interrogation room with any of y'all, you could try to see who'd be the good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like I try to help, but
you can't hold me back.
With this movie, I can't help it that much because there is a lot wrong that shouldn't be wrong. But
that's a sense of a good cop.
That's what I'm saying.
We're basically cops. The scene where he's in his cell and he's just like chilling, and Lucius, we finally haven't seen Lucius in a minute. He finally comes in after that big argument they have. And you can kind of tell he already looks better even with the crane. You're like, all this other stuff, yada yada. I pretend to be your lawyer. It's all like good or whatever. It's like, oh, I left you a snack or whatever, and it was
He had a blood packet.
Was it red or was it blue?
It was red.
It was red.
It was red blood. That's why whenever he cut up to him, he said, "Oh, you ate it."
You ate like
Yeah,
you
he
got
was
the got the red and all this. You tried the red and all that crap. I liked the only thing I liked about that is whenever he left his cane, it was like, oh shit, this dude. And then in my mind, I thought that was cool, but in my mind, I was like, oh, this fucker's gonna be the villain. I was like,
no, you could tell the way he's walking out of the precinct. Like Lucius leaves the cane in the room, and then the way he's walking out the precinct, you're like, hold up, he's walking out. He's walking out without a cane. He's
fucking worst villain I've ever seen.
This is the worst villain. And I thought Carnage was a bad villain because I thought they fucked Carnage up bad,
they fucked Carnage
which
up
they
so
still
bad.
did.
But
I thought it couldn't get worse.
There's a pointless villain in this, bro. I like how they finally link up and they do a little fight, but it's kind of stupid. Like, I guess it was more in the sense that Lucius was more powerful than Morbius because he accepted what he was,
and he was also drinking more
blood.
They were saying just red and blue,
rather
than saying blood. I think because blood would have been like a trigger word to these vampires, so they were just saying red and blue. So Lucius was drinking red. You know, he was killing people, whereas Morbius was really trying to fight it and just trying to survive off of blue. So I think that's why Lucius. You can tell Lucius was like dummy stronger than.
It was a little bit of a good fight scene going into the train, but that one scene where
he murks the cops.
No, that was dope. I like that.
Except for when he started dancing.
Oh yeah, he started dancing like I don't know. He had really baggy slacks, wearing stupid shoes. Yeah, it's not a fit. Definitely not a fit. But also that scene where he was like, oh, you gonna join me, or like, no, I'm not gonna do this, and they're just walking away, like, bro, like, why don't just run away, like,
yeah, Morbius
and then
just walks away.
He hears a train coming, and then Lucius
comes around the corner
in slow mo.
This is This is another really bad
5 minutes of slow mo.
Literally just him running while Morbius is watching.
And it's the ugliest thing, bro. It's such a bad shot. Like, it's really like a bad shot.
The CGI is awful on that one. The effects are awful. The way he's running is awful. And yeah, it did just go on. It felt like you were watching this guy run. I was
looking at Brandon. I was like, "What the fuck are we watching, bro?"
That part was really bad.
and then he jumps on to the train, of course.
That's the thing with the air currents was like, of course, classic velocity again, physics. This train is pushing air forward, and that's what Morbius was flying with. Was the air current that the train was pushing forward as it traveled. That's how he was flying. A lot of people don't understand how he's flying.
Okay, I didn't understand. Now
he was using
Brandon broke it down for me.
He was using air currents. Yeah, it's just he was using velocity of the air basically.
That was dope. I thought he just like learned how to fly out of nowhere. That's what I thought. But I'm glad you caught that because I didn't catch that. You know?
No, I couldn't tell from the trailer that that's how he did it. But after watching the movie, I could see. Okay, that's how he's flying.
Dope. Okay,
that's cool how he learns to fly because he doesn't actually fly. He kind of just glides through the air.
Am I about to give this movie a 3 out of 10?
I got it.
Like, hey,
I'm getting him, bro. Okay, I'm getting him.
Yeah, like
I'm working on it.
Changing it on my notepad right now. If you guys can see for the video, it's a 3 out of 10 for me now.
It's a 3 out of 10.
Again, I guess it's like more of the little stuff that I didn't see now.
You see, it is little things that can kind of change your, especially with this movie. A lot of little things bad. A lot of little things that, if you understand it, are pretty good. Or if you kind of give it a chance, it's good. But anyways, moving past the worst scene of the fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly.
He escapes.
There's a scene where Lucius interrogates Martine. Where is he? Like, oh, I don't know where he's at, but she actually does. They meet up at a coffee place or some shit. They're on a bus, right? And then they go to a coffee place, and Morbius just overhears like these fucking dumbasses, like thugs, I guess.
Yeah, I want to know what the fuck is going on.
Like they were like, oh, like chemicals, all that. They were speaking science shit, and then they go to, like, they have this lab. They're like, oh, don't worry, I'm like, gonna go check it out. Like, I was corny as fuck.
They make money.
Yeah, like,
they literally print and make their own like dollars, and it's like.
But like, what was funny with that also is the what was it? She's like, I see that look on your face. I know what that look is. All this stuff. I was like, nah, I'm Gucci.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
He's like, just stay here though. And then he dips to go chase after these kids.
And he goes in. But I think that was a cheesy scene. He's like, oh, is this the part where
Is this the part where the guy in the hoodie or some shit
kicks everyone's ass? Is like, oh, I love that part. I fucking hated that.
That was really stupid.
I fucking hate that shit.
Again, the lines were pretty bad. Now, when he got that one guy and was doing the shit with his hands,
The anatomy thing, that was...
and he was talking about, I bet you don't know how many fucking bones are in your
There's
hand
like
or
50
whatever.
something bones and like...
He's like, well, let's list them off. And then he goes, here's your phalanges. And then he starts breaking
And
his
then,
hand.
and then the
really
most painful, the pinky.
And then he breaks his pinky. That's cool. That's cool. That was,
And then all the guys are like leaving or whatever, and he's like,
that's when he hits him with the venom. And
But
then he says, get out,
The
get
only
out of
reason
here.
I liked it in the trailer better was because he said, I am Venom. And he's like, he like shows like the little vampire, and he's like, oh no, just kidding. Dr. Michael
The
Morbius.
reason that doesn't make sense in the trailer, though, is because he's telling his kid to get the fuck out of there. If in the trailer, it kind of seems like he's going to befriend that guy.
No, he doesn't. It looks like
That's
he's like,
what I thought. I thought,
No, I
oh,
didn't
this
think
guy
that
was
at
going
all.
to be like, I didn't, well, obviously in the trailer, you can't tell that he broke his hands either. You can just tell he's holding him. When he does that, I thought, like, he was saving this guy, at least. In the trailer, it seems like he's the way I interpreted it, I guess. I thought he was saving this guy, and then he did that, and he was like, just kidding, you know. But in the movie, he does it as an interrogation
I liked
thing,
it better in the
as
trailer,
intimidation
that's
to get the kid the fuck out of there.
Again, that's just me, I guess.
Teach his own.
Again, they use that underground lab.
So he takes over these kids' lab.
Yeah.
Where they're making money, and then he builds some shit like on the spot. Literally takes like.
Well, he's not smart. He's Michael Morbius.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. This is actually one of the only. This is like only movies that I was in the theater where I kept on looking at my phone.
He was.
I kept on. I was like, I'm not.
I'm
not interested, bro. I was not. It was not catching me until like something good was happening. I think I almost wanted to fall asleep at a point.
I'm sure you did.
But I was just like, I gotta do this because what the fuck are we gonna talk about if I fall asleep? Here, okay. The number one scene. Like, I'm glad we finally got to the number one scene I hated out of this whole fucking movie. Lucius dance scene. That is the.
This is the worst. I changed my mind about every other scene I said. This one takes cake as the worst scene in any fucking movie.
He suits up in a suit, like just completely changes it. Nice style. I'm not gonna lie.
Before he suits though, he's flexed.
No, yeah, like
shirtless, combing his hair, and he's
looking at himself
dancing
like
in like 3 mirrors.
And the stupid thing is he kept on going like just hissing like over and over again. I was like, what the fuck? God. You're so dumb, bro.
This is like the cringiest like 2-3 minutes of my life. Like
then he ends up going to a bar and I guess he's just hitting on this girl and he's like, oh damn, I'm getting the girl. I think he was just trying to vibe. I don't think he was trying to kill. He just felt good going out.
Yeah, he was trying to.
But then these fucking assholes just like fuck with him and then he goes and eats the drinks their blood.
The way he's posted on the stupid.
He's just like
he's posted on the corner of a building and he still works.
He tried to pull the Spider-Man pose off.
He tried to pull the Spider-Man Batman pose and it just wasn't working.
And then after that, of course, we see that he finds out that Marty was lying. He does know where
she's been with Morbius this whole time.
Another stupid scene. I'm glad that we're actually getting to all these scenes that are super stupid.
Don't say it's the shit with her blood.
No. The kissing scene. Whenever they first kiss on top of the balcony and Lucius
I said about time.
No, that was so weird.
It was weird.
Close your eyes.
The way he did it, yeah.
Just goes in like, bro. I'm like, bro. There's no lead up to it. Like, it was just like, what the fuck? Like she's basically saying, oh, I'm so stressed out. Like, I thought it was gonna help her like try to like rethink like stuff and then
but
kiss.
He said, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It was so dumb, bro. And then Lucius is like, yeah.
He's watching him from like 3 buildings away, and it's so perverted, just like Twilight. It's literally just like Twilight, bro.
They're in the same universe.
They literally are.
I want to be surprised if fucking Edward shows up in New York at one point.
On a multiverse shit, he probably could.
Please don't make that happen. Please do not make that happen. I don't want any of this shit to ever happen. I know listening, Caitlin would definitely love that.
They'd love that.
They'd be like, oh, you guys, Marvel and Twilight are collabing. No.
This is basically the Marvel Twilight collab.
That's
what this movie was.
Marvel's Twilight,
essentially.
After that, of course, Morbius leaves. Where does he go to? He gets a phone call from the doctor, his father figure or whatever.
Because Lucius just fucked him up.
Lucius, and then he was trying to help Lucius, we all know Morbius was your favorite. No, like, you were my favorite because I took care of you, fucking dickhole.
That was a weird scene.
Yeah,
I understand the feeling behind it, but like, it's.
And then he just fucking
did not need to have that
wrecks his shit, just stabs him. He's on the phone, like.
That boy should have died. Lucius, boof, like, he should have been dead, but that guy survived. And then he got, like.
Survived enough to, like, make a phone call, and I was like, and then
he got his shit slashed, like. Bro, I would have died.
Was Morbius not thinking of, like. I guess he didn't really know that Lucius would have tried to find him, but he left there, went to the house. For him to say, you have to stop Lucius, and then he just dips again, bro. He again, the cinematography again, there's no point for him to fucking go to point A and then go back to point B.
That's what I'm saying. That entire scene with this doctor friend, the mentor, as he's named in the casting.
God, this movie's probably just as bad as
unneeded
as the rebooted Fantastic Four movie.
Unneeded. Hey, listen. We'll get to that one.
We'll get to that one even later on too. You already know about these guys right here, but again, they're at an all-time low with this movie, of course, especially with the jumping around scenes. Finally makes it back. You see.
Oh well, when he's with the mentor, is that when he hears Lucius taking?
Oh yeah,
so that's why he goes
call out for him all this shit or whatever.
It was basically a ploy. Lucius lured him there, and then Lucius the whole time was catching Martin.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's
that. I guess. Of course, we all knew that was kind of coming.
That's a classic. Yeah.
And then he goes up to this building, and then we see a Michael Morbius look. I like his. I guess you could say that's his costume
suit,
that he's gonna be wearing and all that. I like that. He turns into his skinny, pale vampire type beat, and he finally takes off. The gliding scene was cool. I liked it. I liked the way they was going. That was also like that. All right, 3.5.
Them airways, man. He was looking at the airways in between buildings, and that's what he was gliding on. That's a cool little.
Change it again. 3.5 out of 10. All right.
I'm whittling it. I'm working him down. Yeah, working him up, I should say.
And then we finally get to the point where he finds Martine. And I didn't know that he killed her.
I couldn't tell that either. I thought they were both gonna be there, and I thought he was just holding her and gonna do some.
Just left her shit, right there, and then he's like,
she's dying.
She's dying. Seeing make it for your own good or whatever, and they kiss again. And she bites him or he bites her.
She bit his lip, made him bleed, and then she drank the blood.
She was like
in her mouth, and it was so. Weird.
It was weird. I mean, I was like,
weird. He could have just kissed her, yeah. But it's because she was insinuating eat me, which he does. She was saying use my blood to get.
You really thought into that scene, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Because I was trying to break it down. I was like,
oh, and he drains her, bro.
He doesn't want to. You could tell that he slurps, and then he yells, and it's like.
And then we see a very, very scary Morbius right there. We see it's a nice.
That's cool. Him having to eat her to get that strong, that's a cool aspect, but the fact that they threw in that she bit his lip and then drank his blood, which that comes in the future,
in a very short future, actually.
A very short scene.
The fight scene between Lucius and Morbius, it was all right in the beginning, and then whenever they go to get the sewers, it kind of lags off a bit. He yells for the bats, right, to come.
Lucius basically fucked up Morbius, the whole. He stabs him or something, and he's fucked up. They get thrown into the sewer, and then Morbius is. I really liked how he would hang from shit, like a bat.
Oh yeah,
he did that. He did that a couple times, and he's hanging,
just jumping around,
and he's in pain. I think he screams in pain. I don't think he was really calling for the bats specifically, but he was just screaming in pain. But it was so loud that his scream traveled in a sonar type way. Just traveled through the sewers, and then you can tell it was reaching some bats, and that's what
bats came in, big old swarm,
shit ton of bats,
and then Lucius tries to stab him with like a stick or whatever, but
Morbius
just uses his fucking bat powers to just fucking hammer his shit down.
That was kind of cool.
He went down. Yeah, I thought he was like, he just like, it was like imagine
the Force, yeah, like, as bats. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, imagine the Force, but it's bats. He was like,
it's that geek connection right here. You know,
what I'm saying,
it's like
right?
we just talk about it.
I'm moving him up, bro. He gonna get to 5 by the end of this.
Okay,
podcast.
no, we're not. I liked it before I even gave it. I remember I'm staying at 3.5. You're not getting anything better out of me.
At least I got him up 1.5. He beats him like that.
After that, he has the antidote, and he just fucking stabs him with it, right?
Yeah, he just stabs him.
And he's just like, does he say the line again? We were the few.
That's one part where he didn't have to say it. He didn't.
And then Morbius just kind of, and then he yells after that, right? Again, because he's kind of like, "Oh, my best friend." And we kind of, I already kind of knew,
his best
like,
friend, yeah.
And then basically it's the end of the movie. Like, it just like he flies up again. All the bats are flying around, and then Brandon, you can talk about the part now. But
so they flash back to Martine on the roof, and we thought she was dead because she got drained. All of a sudden,
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. She got drained of all her blood, and even though she swallowed Morbius's blood, she opens her eyes, and we're like, "Oh my god, she's alive!" But it's like classic. I knew that shit was gonna happen as soon as she bit his lip, and
but I don't think, did she get it from the blood, or did she get it from Morbius?
He definitely didn't turn her. It was definitely.
So Morbius definitely doesn't know.
Because he probably thought
that was so stupid. Because now it's gonna be a lead up to something else now, and I really just
so now we're gonna get like 2 more, unless there's a storyline in the comics where they're both vampires.
We don't know. I'm actually not completely. Again, like, I know Morbius. I'm not that into Morbius. I'm the comic guy, but I don't dive in that deep into Morbius.
I would never. I have no idea where this is gonna go.
Whether
she's gonna be evil or not, or if they're both gonna be anti. Like, I want to see how that.
Bro, watch her like turn evil. It's gonna be so stupid. She's
definitely gonna
bro.
turn evil.
It's gonna be so stupid.
They would never do just to do.
I fucking hate
that.
Sony right now.
She should have just died.
Then it basically just ends. And again, ending sucks. I'm telling you, the movie still sucks.
What I don't understand though was that he made 2 cures. He made 2 cures because he said like, "Oh, after I kill him, then I have to stop myself. I have to kill myself."
But he doesn't do it.
But he doesn't. I want to know. Unless he did it at some point, I feel like there was never because he was so dead set. Like, he does not want to be this vampire. Classic, that's comic.
Yeah, there was never a point.
He does not want to be this vampire. He doesn't want to give in, and like the synthetic blood thing is wearing off. So he's realizing that's a whole nother theme, is that he can't survive off of just synthetic blood. He needs to drink red blood, and there's never a point that I noticed where he gets that switch where he's like, you know what, I could probably control this. He kind of just kills his friend, and then he said he was going to kill himself after with the serum. Never does it, so I don't know. He just kind of lives on. I don't know. I never got that character. I never got that switch up. It probably did happen,
the
but
writing is just fuckish or whatever. And then of course it ends with it saying Morbius again. Now we get to this stuff. And I told Brandon before this podcast, this is the first time I've actually really ever seen a post-credit scene suck. I fucking hate that. It doesn't make any sense. Everyone knows that Michael
second
Keaton,
one made more sense than the first one.
I guess kind of for like a
it
big
just ruined.
lead up.
When you talk about it, I'll say what it ruined though.
But first, of course, everyone knows that in the trailer, Michael Keaton is shown. Everyone knows that Michael Keaton is Vulture in the MCU. Mm-hmm. So everyone was like, "Oh, is this Tom Holland's universe?" They thought that like after like No Way Home, everything would have been connected, or like maybe Sony and Marvel came to the conclusion. It wasn't the case. Everyone knows how No Way Home happened. And if you don't know, check out that podcast too. that episode. Check out our episode.
You have to have seen the movie by now.
Exactly. So, it again, like, if you haven't watched No Way Home, then this scene isn't going to make any sense to you either. So remember the Spider-Man scene, the whole gaps.
Everyone who knows Peter Parker got brought into the universe.
But in this sense,
you see the cracks in the sky, the white figures.
The cracks in the sky for this is shitty. You could definitely tell it was cheap as fuck, and it doesn't make any sense because I know Sony has money.
You couldn't make out any of those characters; they're just white.
Yeah,
like white, like blocks in the sky.
And then it just closes up real quick, and then again a shitty reappearance of Michael Keaton.
The same way every character faded out at the end of No Way Home, like when they did that glowy fade out thing.
Yeah,
that's what happens with Michael Keaton's character.
And then they're just like
he
looking around.
He appears in a cell.
they're like, oh,
he's looking around. He's like,
I guess, and
like he just knows he's in another universe.
Random person, Michael Keaton, comes up into the universe.
Appears, literally appears out of thin air. Yeah.
What is he supposed to do? It's like, I guess he's dropping his charges. I was like, oh, so you were a villain in another universe. I guess you're okay to come.
That doesn't make sense. He's in a prison guard uniform, and they're not like. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they can't really prove that what he's done, but it's like, how are you just gonna like set him? They'd set him free into the world. It doesn't seem like they questioned him a lot. They didn't question what he did in prison, whether he told them or not. I don't know that.
And then the scene ended, and you even said it sucked too. Like, that was terrible.
That was like, that didn't make any sense.
And then we got another post-credit scene. It was back to Morbius. He's driving in a car, which, I mean, why can't he just fly places now? You know,
literally.
But
that reminded me of Doctor Strange. I was like, damn, this boy is zooming. He was zooming.
Zooming, and then makes it to like a place like in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's a desert, right?
Yeah, there was like really like weird rundown structures, worn structures. I don't know, that have been there probably for like millennia. But yeah, just in the middle of nowhere. Like definitely right outside the city or some shit.
So yeah, that happened.
And he's waiting.
He's waiting, and
he waits for a long time, right?
For like a minute.
Does he show there during the day, and then isn't it at night?
Yeah, it turns at night or whatever, and then in the distance we see something flying in, and we don't know. I thought it wasn't gonna be Vulture at first, but then we see
what the fuck it was. Yeah,
it is Vulture, but in the MCU suit,
which looks a little different.
I didn't really notice that much of a difference. I just thought like it doesn't make
similar, but it's a little different.
It doesn't make any sense.
You can
how
tell
he got like, a lot of the shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
but it's Vulture. He shows it's Adrian Toomes in his Vulture suit,
and a lot of the stuff that he makes is from the Chitauri. That's
how he made his entire suit, was because he had Chitauri.
Yeah, so now we gotta figure out like what, unless his fucking suit got teleported somehow, they're gonna make some bullshit with it. And then he kind of hints like, oh, like I guess like a notice of work. I don't know how I'm here, but I know it's because of Spider-Man. So, but does Morbius know about Spider-Man then?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Again, what
they don't show that, so.
And then he's kind of saying, I think we need to make a team of our own, like, you know, I guess to go after Spider-Man. And Morbius kind of agrees.
He's like,
but he just nods, right? And then it just ends, and that's the end of the scene. And I fucking hate that too, because that means we're gonna get a Sinister Six movie.
But it's gonna be in the Sony universe. And I was telling him that they might pull some 3-in-3 shit, where they'll maybe bring in another multiverse Sinister Six, which was probably gonna be Venom from the Sony universe. And then I was predicting that they'll probably do some fuck-ass multiverse shit again and have 3 new enemies that are in Tom Holland's new trilogy or whatever, and then they join up and that's their Sinister Six. That's just what I predicted. I really hope it doesn't go that route, but I can't see them pulling 6 villains out of Sony's Spider-Man universe. I don't see it, and I don't see who, especially with who they're starting with, Vulture and Morbius. That just doesn't make sense.
This talk is making me really like just irritated. Just thinking about like the future of Sony. Overall, movie I do not like. I definitely am not going to watch it again. We did after the movie had to have a good conversation about theories about what could come. Like,
taking it back to Michael Keaton's real quick, I do want to say the reason I hated this one is because it ruins Michael Keaton's like character development. Because in the Vulture ending in Homecoming, he kind of becomes a better guy, right? He protects Spider-Man's identity.
Well, he just does that.
He just does that, but like,
now that he's in a different universe now, maybe he's kind of pissed.
Maybe that's why. But
he's
it
just, like,
seems
pissed,
like
like
he was ending as a good guy, and now all of a sudden he's just a villain again. I don't know. I don't like. I personally don't like that. But I get it. I guess that he's in a different universe and he can probably get away with it. But anyways, my bad. Anyways, yeah, the whole movie.
We did say don't waste your money on it afterwards. It was a pain in the ass for my head to just be hurting like that. So you really believe that's Andrew's universe? You think we're going to see Andrew again? I think we see Andrew again. I told Brandon. I said, Brandon,
we're more likely to see Andrew than Toby, just obviously because of age, but just because I feel like Toby's story is done, and we're hearing some shit about Doctor Strange.
Which I hope that's not true, because if it's true and that's the way that it ends, I'm gonna be crying in the theater. I told Brandon, if they kill off Tobey Maguire,
there's rumors out there that Tobey Maguire is gonna die in the new Doctor Strange movie fighting Scarlet Witch.
If that happens, I'm throwing my phone at the movie theater. I'm sorry, like, I'm gonna flip my shit. I'm really gonna like cry if that shit happens.
That'd be tough, but
No, you're gonna see like a really pissed off like Nene for like a month of a podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he'll never get over that. No.
I definitely would not. If they need to end him like in a legend. Well, I mean, they might end it in a legendary way, but bringing Andrew back would be a great move. If
it
not,
makes sense. It makes more sense.
But I mean, I feel like they could do that, but also, what are the chances of somehow over time Sony, Marvel, the MCU like mix together and we get Tom Holland with these villains again?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe Multiverse of Madness, but then again, Sony still has the rights, so Sony would literally have to give up all those Spider-Man characters, which I don't see them doing. But unless Multiverse of Madness does some shit where it combines a bunch of universes, that's the only way I can see it really happening again. It could not. The only other way is if they don't want to use Andrew Garfield again, is they just have to reintroduce another Spider-Man. And if they do,
No, see, like here we are.
if they do, it's got to be Miles Morales. There's no. It's only a matter of time before we got him, and I feel like this would be at least the best way.
I agree with Brandon on this. We do think that we have our theories of thinking that the upcoming Across the Spider-Verse movie is linked to this universe somehow. Again, that's stuff to do with multiverse. So I mean, it would make a little bit more sense. And we do believe that maybe we believe that at the end, like at some point, because there's two parters for this. Sony's gonna again. This might have been a big blow for Sony, but
they can recover.
they also made money just off of Uncharted, and it's a good video game movie, by the way. Check out that episode as well. But also the Spider-Verse does really, really well.
That's Sony,
and I'm pretty sure they give a little bit of the money from the MCU to Sony as well from Tom Holland. Which even if for being a little bit, that little bit probably is a shit ton to Sony. You know.
Well, I'm sure it helps a lot. Yeah.
But we do believe that Across the Spider-Verse linked to this universe to the point where at the end of the movie we believe that maybe it turns into
he gets sent to a live action universe.
And our live action Spider-Man, or quote unquote Miles Morales, will be the one and only Jaden Smith. Because there have been rumors. Brandon actually had just told me that there was a post that Will Smith had posted. Will Smith seems to be the talk right now.
He was, yeah.
But we're not gonna talk about the. We're gonna talk about something else. He's been saying that Jaden has been prepping for one of those big roles. He's trying to get it like it's gonna
big franchise.
He's kind of hinting towards it really might be Marvel. So
it's what it sounds like, and he looks like he would be a good casting for Miles Morales. I mean,
we'll see. I mean, I had another casting, but I mean, I could.
There's a lot more, but if he was getting cast in Marvel, I'd
definitely be okay with it.
That's what he would be cast.
And I mean, I'd be excited to kind of see it, but there's a whole bunch of the future for Sony is weird and maybe connect to the MCU later on again, like. We were just talking about this, like whenever we saw the movie, like bro, we're gonna be old as fuck whenever like a lot of this finally like, comes together. Like I honestly gonna lose my shit and laugh if like this movie becomes a bigger movie than what it was like.
It probably will be. I don't see a Morbius 2, but I think this.
Something will come up for it, but I guess I kind of like am excited / not excited. I'm kind of like really thinking like, man, maybe again I'm a really big Marvel nerd and all this stuff, but maybe is it getting too much now, or is it gonna pay off later on, and hopefully it really does.
I think when it does, I feel like we're just gonna be, I'll be honest, I think we're just gonna be past that point where we're enjoying superhero movies because there's just so many of them, and I feel like when they do eventually, because Marvel is taking a lot of routes, and I think when they finally get to the point where everything comes together, we're gonna think it's cool, but it's like it's not gonna feel as cool as like Endgame was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that was a whole different. That was like peak superhero.
Shit, we don't know, man. I mean, if
you never know though. We could be wrong if they build it up right and build up.
I have faith.
A correct amount of hype. I obviously we're still gonna enjoy it, still gonna love it, but like.
I have faith in Marvel. I always do. Like, I know they're not going to let us down unless it's like Sony. but
unless Sony's touching Marvel.
Yeah, unless Sony's touching Marvel. Unless it's actually Spider-Man.
Yeah, then it's hit or miss.
But I have faith that they know that they're doing the proper route for everything to be connected together. But I do got to say, it is a lot. It's a lot for us to consume. It's a lot for people, like maybe even later down the road, that they have to go and watch all these movies, all these shows.
Especially if you start late for whatever reason.
Like honestly, Brandon and I were really born at a great time for us to really develop.
Where we can live through this step by step as it's going, rather than just getting into it later or getting into it too late or too early. You know what I mean? Where we're too old and whatever years we're gonna be like 60 years old watching the next Avengers.
Holy fuck! By the time, bro, right? By the time,
we're only gonna be in like maybe our late 20s, but
yeah. So shit. But excited /
excited for the future, but for right now, the
and
present.
We do end it off, or at least I ended off with, I gave it a 3.5. So Brandon got me up from a 2.
I got him from a 2.
I had a few other friends even say that, like, oh, I think you're ranking it too low. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Maybe I was a little bit, but I mean, that's the lowest. That's the highest I'm gonna go up for this movie. I do want to say, sorry, my voice was a little off this episode. It is Fiesta Week.
This guy's a rager.
Mr. 210, the King of San Antonio, was downtown last night, facing it up. But since we're on that, we actually have one more week of Fiesta left, and Brandon and I were going to do something very, very special. On Wednesday, we will be downtown. We actually should pin this on our social media, kind of spread it out. We will be near Market Square. We're still trying to find out the exact location of it. There's a park right next to it, or we maybe even be kind of inside of Market Square, kind of.
We'll see.
We're doing a live podcast where we're going to be geeking out over the legendary event Fiesta. So if you guys would like to come and meet us and join us, and maybe even hop on the podcast where we just keep on talking about, like,
we're just gonna have it set up. Y'all can come.
Y'all can ever come. All this stuff. Bring us a corn and a cup, chicken on a stick. We would really appreciate those. But let's have fun together, San Antonio. Like, really, like, let's live up this event that we get to live out. Let's talk geek for a sec. It's about to geek out on Fiesta,
Yep.
If you guys, again, like we always say, if you guys ever want us to cover up anything, I know Brandon and I literally just planned out a whole bunch of stuff what we're doing for the rest of the month. Next week, of course, we're going to continue with the Moon Knight. If you guys would like us to discuss anything over, maybe we can open up the schedule for next month. And then just drop it on our DMs. Let's talk geek for a sec, or let's talk geek pod on Instagram. Hit us up on YouTube. Please subscribe. We love the subscribers as well. Leave a like on the videos if you actually really do. Listen Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. I'm trying to figure out. That's what I wanted to bring up before we listen. Is Tyrese got April Fools, and I really thought I got April Fools just by watching this movie. This movie's a joke, but Tyrese really got April Fool where someone had fake quoted a quote where it said that Martin Scorsese said that Morbius was the best superhero film, top-notch cinema or whatever. I couldn't even top it. And he took a screenshot and posted it on his Instagram. And he said, wow, just amazing. Like, what the heck? He got April Fools. I really feel bad for Tyrese. That's so bad.
That's tough. Especially now. Damn.
It'd be like that.
It do be like that, honestly.
Fuck Morbius. But, continue giving us all the love and support. Am I missing anything, Brandon? Or are we...
I think we're all good. I think we covered everything.
So yeah, we do have a actually a Rooster Teeth video coming out very soon as well to take us on our trip from Austin.
Be a little trip from Austin.
More GoPro footage will be coming soon.
Oh yes. We got a lot.
So yeah, be on the lookout. Let us know if you guys want anything more. We're planning on something big, and we're really inspired to keep on going. So stay tuned. That Fiesta podcast is going to be huge.
It's going to be nuts.
So we love y'all. As always, peace, love, and positivity. I've been Nene.
I've been Brandon.
And we'll catch y'all later.
It's pretty good.
That's a great podcast right there.